What's up? What's up? What's up, you guys? Oh, jeez, I just woke up from a nap, honey. As you can see, what's going on with you guys? Hit me with the thumbs up when you're ready, boo. All right. So listen, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. And the first one is gonna be this Joe Budden situation. Now, listen, this Joe Budden situation has been going on for a minute, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been kind of keeping an eye on it, but I've been kind of not giving a damn because I don't really care about Joe Budden and anything he got going on. But it just keeps growing legs. So I figured, I guess I need to come on here and we need to talk about some things. So Abby is gonna help me with the parts of the story that I just either I can't follow or it just don't make no sense to me. But first of all, let me because I ain't speak to everybody. Hey everybody coming in. What's up, Star? Hey Boo. Hey Gina Bean. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. All right. What's up? What's up, Daenerys? Hold on. Oh,
Daenerys Targaryen.
That's who it is. Hey, Diamond.
Mother of Dragons, breaker of chains.
Huh?
I said, Mother of Dragons, breaker of chains.
That's it. That is who she is. Hey, Miss Sharon. Hey, Brandon, Dewana, C. Golden. What's up, you guys? How's everybody doing? Trileche. Hey, Xavier. Hey, Boo. Hey, Colette. Diamond. Always coming through with the love. Appreciate it. Leah. What's up, Lock Queen? So, okay. So, let's start from the beginning with this whole Joe Budden situation.
Okay.
Joe Budden had a podcast.
Yes.
That had blown up. Yes. I think it's been like, a major situation for the last couple of years in hip hop, right? If it happens, Joe Budden got an opinion on it, and he's almost like the podcast version of the Breakfast Club, where everybody comes through there. He got an opinion on everything, and a lot of times most people just don't agree with his opinion, but it makes for good conversation and controversy, right? For those who do not know Joe Budden was a hip hop artist at one time. Some might put him in the category of like a one-hit wonder type thing, But no, you wouldn't. Mm-mm. Where would you put him?
I would put him like a mid-tier. Like he's not a Jay-Z or a Nas, but he's not. He's not Vanilla Ice either. So I would put him squarely in the middle.
All right. Okay. So about 2 weeks ago now, this all kind of started about 2 weeks ago, where all of a sudden,
It's been going on for more than 2 weeks, but go ahead.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I just started paying attention 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden, Joe Budden announced that the podcast was ending. And a lot of people were like, what the hell? And he was like, well, all good things must come to an end, yada, 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 Buddha. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Xavier, but I have not done a whole discology on Joe Budden, so I believe it. I'm just going to leave it there. Then and this is where Abby, you got to fill in the blanks for me. Mm-hmm. So, of course, most people knew that you don't just end something that's that successful that suddenly without it being a story to it. And almost immediately, his co-host, well, I think first his co-host quit or something. And then we found out that his co-hosts are accusing him of owing them some money. They done came right flat out and said that he stole from them. And that when they asked to see the numbers, he refused to share the numbers with him because whatever their agreement to share the profits was, they were not getting the proper information to know whether they were making the money they should have been making. And when they asked to see the books, he wouldn't show them the books. Well, then he came out saying there was an accounting error, and I told him that we would handle it behind the scenes, and I needed them to just chill out and calm down, and they was moving too fast and doing too much. And it sounds like it's to the tune of about $400,000 is a discrepancy or something, dealing with some $400,000 is missing, or there's a discrepancy over $400,000 or something to that effect. Now I'm gonna stop there and let you fill in wherever the blanks of what I don't have, child.
Okay, so things have been going on for a while. His co-host came up missing for several episodes before this even jumped off, and everybody was like, "Well, where's Rory and Mal? What's happening? What's going on?" And then he had other co-hosts sitting in on the podcast for a couple of weeks with no explanation, no understanding. It was just 1 week. It was the regular show, and then it was him by himself, and then he got some new co-hosts. So it was a bunch of
a lot of confusion.
I don't know why. I don't know what is going on with their money. Why there's a $400,000 there? That I don't know. I don't know. This I think it's coming from the deal that they had with Spotify. They feel like maybe they didn't know what the deal completely was, and maybe there was more money on the table than they were aware of. So they didn't get their fair share.
Right.
So let's start here, because we want to be fair and biased. And though Really B said that she feels like he's a one-hit wonder, this man has 8 studio albums.
That don't mean they
collab albums. I'm just saying that he has more than one.
But I'm not saying he don't have I mean, Vanilla Ice got more albums, but we don't know no other song.
I don't know what happened to the show on Revolt with Remy. Probably COVID. Is my
guess, because it was on for a minute, and then it hasn't been. And I think I remember reading something a few months back saying that the show was in question mark. They haven't canceled it, but they haven't started new episodes. It's sort of like one of those, we don't know if we're bringing it back yet kind of thing. Like that's the last I heard about it. Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I get it. I'm not saying the man don't make music. I'm talking about hits. But go ahead. Go on.
Okay. But I'm sorry, I got tickled. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be as tickled at the fact that you just like, yeah, he got hits. I don't know. Thought that Ebony did Starfield. What?
Ebony is on Real Housewives of New York. She's from.
Okay. I didn't know she went to Real Housewives of New York.
Yeah, but I mean that would that they film for 4 months out of the year. That would not stop her from doing state of whatever the thing is called. That wouldn't have stopped it. I mean, he was doing that. Him and Remy were doing that while they were filming Love and Hip Hop New York. Like that.
Right.
It doesn't stop. Yeah, that ain't.
But we don't know what kind of contractual obligations that Bravo put on they.
Yeah, that's
maybe they can't do another show at the same time.
I don't know. I'm gonna just say
because I don't know anyone else from any other franchise that's been on, a Housewives and simultaneously doing another show at the same time.
Garcelle is doing the talk from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Is she still on Beverly Hills? I thought she left.
No, she's on there.
Okay.
She's on this season.
I thought she had one season like Kim Fields and was like, this some bullshit and I'm not doing this.
It was up in the air about whether she was going to do the second season, but no, she's got a full-on diamond. She's in the promo. She's holding a diamond at the beginning and everything. Yeah, she's on the full whole thing.
Okay.
But again, I don't, who knows what? I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know.
Right. Because we don't know. So with the little boys coming up missing on the show, everybody's like, we know, well, those of us who watch and follow the Joe Budden podcast know very much it is a familial friendship type relationship between the three of them. They're like, that's my brother, that's my boy. They always hanging out with each other. They're at each other's houses, all of that. Like they were filming out of the little boy Rory's house. Like that's his living room that they be sitting in on that sofa.
Oh wow.
Now I think things went left when they did that Spotify deal and they were on Spotify. I think that's where the breakdown of everything that happened with Spotify. And then Joe, to give that show credit, they outperformed whatever Spotify thought they were going to do. They outperformed it by miles.
Oh, it was definitely a hit. It was
not a little, a lot, a huge portion of people, because they stopped putting it on YouTube. It was only available on Spotify unless you waited a couple of days, and then you got an edited version of the podcast on YouTube, which, because I wasn't finna pay for Spotify. Not for, I just wasn't gonna pay for Spotify. But they jumped up the viewership, all of these other things, and you good, Watermelon. So you know we love you.
How about to say, girl?
Baby, we love you. It's you fine. So when it came around it was a big deal when the following year, because they only signed a 1-year contract, and they were supposed to hit all of these performance markers, and they exceeded every single performance marker that they were given. And so when they came back to renegotiate, Spotify didn't want to give them their rightful due. They just didn't want to. They didn't want to give, like, they gave like tens of millions to Joe Rogan and his podcast, but the black people who was the guinea pig who quadrupled your viewership, you don't want to pay them anything. You don't want to give them. You want to give them like an extra $500,000 and a used Rolex watch. What? That's not that. It wasn't fair and or equitable.
Right.
So they said, no, we want to retain ownership, because they wanted to try and put them in like almost like a 360 deal. Spotify wanted. So anything they did, if they went on tour, because they were touring before COVID, the podcast was touring.
Okay.
And all of those things, and selling out shows and all those type of things. And so Spotify, wanted to put them in a 360 deal. So if they selling t-shirts, whatever they get from their YouTube channel, they want a percentage of that, so they was like, no, we want to retain. Right. They wanted to give them people. They asked him, oh, what kind of gifts, they were trying to gift them, because it was like, thank you so much for, know how.
Because of course that's all us black people want. We just want shiny, blingy things. That's
right. And when they said the type of Rolex, they was like, well, we can get a used one.
No, ma'am.
Who's going to give a used watch to?
No, ma'am.
No, sir, no, ma'am. And so they said no, thank you to Spotify. And so they went back to being specifically on YouTube. I still think the new episodes came out on Spotify as well, because you can, if you put it in your RSS feed and you already are putting it out to Spotify, it'll continue to go out to Spotify. But as to Spotify always it being like they were on title, like you could only get it if you were on Spotify, it then became more open to the public. And so it was this is when we were on Joe's side. It was absolutely a smack in the face. It was disrespectful, because you had just given millions of dollars to this white man in his podcast, which hadn't done anything for Spotify. Joe Rogan was on like iHeartRadio or one of them other stations. But these people who have quadrupled and got you the audience and the revenue in order to give that white man millions of dollars, you don't want to give them nothing? But that's how, when your skin is a little toasty, they don't tend to see the value in what you bring. Right. Even when the analytics are right there in front of your face, they still don't want to give you your value for what you bring to the table. Exactly, Tawana. But they signed a contract, and I don't know if they didn't read the contract well, or if they just trusted their friend not to shit them in said contract, but they signed a contract and they were paid accordingly to the contract. Now, with there being a $400,000 oversight, you're going to have to let the accountants go through the books and everything be broken down to make sure that everybody was paid equitably. But right now, the boys are saying Joe went on his show and fired. The boy wasn't there, and he said to the empty chair, "You're fired. Don't come back."
Right. Yeah.
Nigga, what you doing?
Right. I remember reading about that. Yeah, I remember reading about that.
So you have even with friends, especially with friends, you have to come into it. I know you're my friend and I love you, but I want to make sure that you protect yourself and I protect myself and we both protect our friendship.
Absolutely.
By having all of the paperwork done correctly.
Absolutely.
If you want to negotiate, we can talk about it. Take this paperwork to your lawyer, have them look it over. Don't sign anything unless you're 100% sure you know everything that's in the contract. And I feel like Rory and Mal were told to take some. They got into an argument at Rory's house, and he told him via text message. This is when they came up missing. One episode, they were at the house. The show ended. They got into an argument, and they dispersed because it was going to become a physical altercation. That's how bad the argument got. And so Joe went and he sent a text message in the group chat saying, "Y'all take a couple episodes off, to let everything breathe, to let everybody cool out, And that's when they came up missing, and then they were missing for maybe like a good month. They were missing in action. And everybody, not that they came up missing like they were kidnapping. They weren't, they're a staple of the show is Joe and his friends. But not that I'm saying that his friends don't contribute, but Joe is the show. I just, not that they're not do their fair share, not that they don't put in their work, add their voices to this podcast, but the show.
Somebody who's never listened to the podcast, I didn't even know he had co-hosts, because all I ever heard was the Joe Budden podcast. I didn't even know he had co-hosts because I never watched it. I never listened.
Oh yeah, listen.
I've listened to one episode. I've only listened to one episode, and that's because a friend of mine had died, and I guess him and Joe were friends, or they knew it because he was from New York, and and somebody was like, Joe, shouted out on his podcast, and I was like, oh, and I went and listened to that episode just to hear the shout out. So I didn't even know he had co-hosts.
Absolutely, he absolutely could do it by himself, not Queen. That's where I'm going to disagree with you. That Joe was the only reason why I listened to the podcast. Now I like Rory and Mal, but they be saying crazy. Not that Joe don't say crazy shit, but they be saying stuff. They be like, "Go sit down, just go." Nobody, hush. But like when Joe gets up there and do them fucking dramatic readings of people's text messages, and when shit is popping off, it is funny to me. His fucking dramatic readings of, I don't know if it was R. Kelly or Chris Brown. I think it was Chris Brown saying something super duper crazy. And the manner in which I was through, distraught. Could not get myself together. It was too funny to me. I feel like the hosts that the friends, Rory and Mal, are replaceable. And you can still carry on the show. If you take Joe Budden out of the equation, it's not going to stand. The show is not going to stand. It's not going to be the same. It's not going because honestly and truly, he's the show. That's why people are there. He's the show.
So I heard the same thing. Okay, so that's what I was saying a second ago, Trey Leche, that part of it was that they were supposed, and I think Abby was saying that too, there was supposed to be a percentage breakdown. And again, Joe did do a video over the weekend where he admitted that there was some money missing, and he said it was an accounting error. But here's the problem. Here's the problem that I have. And I asked Abby to come on so she could give me some insight, because I've been picking bits and pieces, but because I don't really follow the show, my problem is this. I felt like his attitude in that video that I saw was very blasé. And my thing is, I feel like if the situation were reversed and they owed him money, I don't think he would be that blasé about it. Like to me, the way that video came off was, I mean, I told him we were handling it behind the scenes. I mean, okay, there was an accounting error. And I'm like, but I just feel like his I don't know. I feel like if the situation reversed and they owed him money and he was asking about his money and he wasn't getting the response he wanted, I don't feel like he would be that calm about it. But it just seemed like the way his attitude came off in that video I saw was kind of like, I don't know why they fucking complaining. Like, I told him I'd take care of it. Like, but sir, you owe me money, and I don't feel like if the situation were reversed, you would be that calm about it.
Right. But at this point, I think he's trying to not go, because he's known for flipping out. So I think he's trying to, put out fires, because I feel like he's being attacked every time he turns around and something else that's happening. And so I think he's trying to let me stay calm, because let me control my narrative of what it is that's happening. Because if I flip out the way people want me to or expect me to, then it's just, oh, here go Joe again doing some blah 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 blah. So I think it may be more of that than not that he didn't care.
Mm-hmm. Xavier, that's not true. If there was an agreement to have a percentage breakdown, it doesn't matter if the name of the show is Joe Budden. If that was the agreement, then that was the agreement. They do have a leg to stand on if that was the agreement. And even if it was a oral contract, if they can meet the burden of what you have to prove in an oral contract, it does matter. The fact that his name is on the podcast doesn't mean that they're not entitled to compensation if the compensation was agreed, if for whatever the compensation was that they were agreed to. They absolutely have a leg to stand on. But again, that's part of the problem when people don't handle business. We can be friends all day long, but when there's business involved, there's business involved.
Right. And I think they did it kind of backwards. They started, once the show took off is when they actually had to start getting actual contracts involved. Because at first it was just me and my homies. We got a podcast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we was we're not getting paid for it. We just put it out in the atmosphere. We'll see what happens. And so it took off. And once they started getting deals and sponsorships from Cash App and things like that, then that's when they had to come back around and be like, okay, well, we need to do a percentage breakdown so everybody, they get what they listen. You called it.
Yeah, I mean, y'all know I do my podcast and I have my co-host. And when I asked them to be my permanent co-host, we had a conversation. Podcast wasn't making no money. It still ain't really making no money. But I had a breakdown with them from the gate. And they was like, oh, no. I was like, no. It's an echo. I just want to, hold on. Abby, I'm going to mute you because there's an echo. I don't know where it's coming from, but let me just say what I got to say. I didn't mute you. I muted my damn self. Alrighty then. But the reality of the situation is this though. You got to take care of that on the front end. I mean, just because we're friends and it's cool and I have no intention of cheating them. I mean, Lord knows I would love for the podcast to blow up. I mean, we got to get, consistent, but I would love for it to blow up and all that great stuff. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that we're on the same page going in. And they were, because at the end of the day, again, the friendship ain't worth the little bit of money that, right now, the little bit of money that we making. And if it gets to a point where we're making real money, I don't want it to be an issue. You know what I mean? You definitely got to make sure that everybody's on the same page going in the door. You just have to. All right. Well, the other problem is you can't tell your co-host they can't see. Exactly. You can't tell your co-host they can't see the books. Now, The other thing that seems to be going on with Joe Budden is now we have a situation with, I didn't realize that Joe Budden had a whole network. So there's another podcast, it's a female-led podcast that's on his network. DJ, hold on.
Olivia Dope, I think.
Dope, yes, thank you. Olivia Dope. She is saying that back in January, Joe sexually harassed her. That they were taping a show and he was making some inappropriate comments and saying things that made her uncomfortable and that were inappropriate. She ended up leaving the show and it's really affecting her. And so she's speaking out now. Whenever there are accusations of sexual harassment.
Welcome back.
Who? What? Well, hello, Jonathan. You back from your trip? Hope you had a nice, relaxing, refreshing vacation, honey. Whenever there are accusations of sexual harassment, there are going to always be people that feel the way they feel. Well, Xavier, the question is, sexual harassment is inappropriate behavior. Like you say it didn't seem like sexual harassment, it seemed like inappropriate behavior. So what do you mean? I guess that's what sexual harassment is. It is inappropriate behavior. And the reality of the situation is a lot of times for so long, certain behaviors were accepted and excused and written off as, oh, that's just locker room talk. Oh, that's just this. Oh, that's just that. And that now that women are becoming, a lot of men too, because women can sexually harass men as well. When people become a lot more conscious of comments that were made. You said he asked for a hug and the other co-host asked her to do it. But what if she wasn't comfortable hugging him? He was her boss. See, that's the thing. The element that's missing in this is that he was her boss. She was doing a show on his network. So it wasn't just any Joe Schmo coming in the studio and was like, girl, go and get that boy a hug. First of all, that still wouldn't have been appropriate because you can't make me hug nobody. I'm a grown-ass woman and you can't make me hug a grown-ass man. You don't know what my reasons are, why my hesitation is, and why I don't want to do it. Second of all, he was her boss. So you put me in a position where now I have to tell my boss no to something. That is sexual harassment. Now, it is.
The hug is the very least.
Right. I mean, it's not, when people think of the word sexual harassment, it's not what people would normally think of. But again, if it's a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, a hug is not necessarily sexual, but we don't know. I'm just throwing this out here. We don't know, that woman may have some sexual trauma and the hug might be something that is a trigger for her. It might just be something that you don't want people touching you. You know, we just don't know. And so to say, well, I don't think, well, that's just, we don't know. And I don't know, Olivia did leave the podcast abruptly. They edited some of his behavior out of the show. Here's the thing. A man who is not being harassed or doing the harassing cannot say what is inappropriate to another person, especially a woman. I can agree with that. The ask for the hug was the start of the problem. Okay. Well,
the hug was the straw that broke the camel's back, because he had been saying over and over again that he wanted to have sex with her.
Right, and didn't he call her out her name? Didn't he call her out of her name as well?
I don't know about calling her. I
thought he called her out of her name. Said something derogatory. But yeah, I mean, again, the part that. So go ahead, Abby. Go ahead and add what you heard about it, because you have a little more information.
It was just that he kept saying that same statement, that he kept wanting to have sex with her, and she never engaged in the conversation, and she would ignore him. They kept having to edit out what he was saying, everybody was like, you know how you get that uncomfortable. Somebody said something real out of left field. You like,
right. That's that pregnant pause, like,
right. Child, get your friend. So she removed herself from the situation because he had said it. She was so uncomfortable because he had made several of that statement several times about her dressing sexier and wanting to have sex with her. I'm trying to say it in a polite way, but you know how niggas say it. And that's when the hug was to try and smooth over all of the crazy shit that he had said to her all throughout this episode. And like, hey, we're okay. We're going to do this hug so everybody knows that you and me were cool, when she wasn't really cool. And she felt like she was forced into that to just smooth over the uncomfortableness that he had done for the last hour and some change.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I can see Joe saying it. I can see Joe doing it. I mean,
take it back. Is that take it back? BL is my girl. Hey, take it back.
Hey, I don't know what that means.
BL is a subby that be in the B sector, honey.
Oh.
And take it back is yeah. BL be saying some crazy stuff in the chat. BL is hilarious. Okay. Hey, Robert. But yeah, and my thing is this, and this is what I need people to understand. And I'm not speaking to any one person in particular. I'm speaking to anybody that always wants to tell somebody else what is and isn't okay for them. You know, I think we have to remember how we walk in this world, that everybody has an individual story. And I don't have to justify not wanting someone in my space. I don't have to justify being respected. I don't have to justify say what somebody should and shouldn't say to me inappropriate. For somebody to repeatedly in a place of work and someone who has authority over you to say they want to sleep with you, that's inappropriate, period. End stop. I say end stop, full stop. That's it. There's no way that that's okay. There's just no way that that's okay. And you're right, Diamond Pearl. You don't have to be the victim to report it. If you see sexual harassment going on, you absolutely can, and you should go to HR or whoever the authority is and report it. You know, again, a lot of times it goes unreported because people don't feel empowered and they don't feel like anything is going to happen other than them be reprimanded. So, you know, I don't know this woman's story. Y'all know, like I said, I haven't watched any of these things. I read it today. I heard part of her statement today. I don't think she's lying. No. And, you know, Joe just got a lot going on. Joe might need to just go take a hiatus. Joe just got a lot going on. He needs to handle the business with his partners, and he needs to really apologize to this woman publicly and be sincere about it. And then he needs to just go away somewhere for a little while. I mean, I'm not even being funny. Like, he really needs to just go somewhere for a little while.
Right. Get somewhere and sit down.
Yeah, just go and sit down somewhere, sir. Go sit down somewhere, sir. So that is the Joe Budden. Lord, that was a lot.
It was.
Joe Budden got a lot going on, y'all. But anyway, so that is the Joe Budden breakdown. Thank you, Abby, because I didn't know all of the details. Like I said, I've been reading, but I didn't even know he had co-hosts. Like I said, I didn't even know he had co-hosts until he fired them.
I promise I'm not doing this, Lord. Joe has a history of toxic behavior. The only person he's afraid of is Remy. Absolutely. Because Remy, when she said she's gonna do something to you, that's exactly what she mean.
What happened?
She said the only Joe has a history of toxic behavior. He does. And the only person he's genuinely scared of is Remy Ma.
As he should be.
As he should be.
Because let's be clear, it ain't just Remy you need to worry about, it's Papoose. Because I feel
like you're gonna need to worry about Remy too.
No. Let's be clear. He need to worry about Remy. Oh, no. I'm not negating Remy at all. But what I'm saying is whatever Remy leaves behind, Papoose gonna get.
You know he is.
Now, I don't know if she gonna leave a lot behind. But whatever is left behind, trust. And I believe that Papoose will go to jail for that.
He sure would.
Yeah. Papoose.
He know his woman gonna hold him down. Why? Because he held.
Because she can listen.
Parents, let this be a lesson to you. Oh my God, break up with that nigga. Listen. He went on national TV and said that he would not. He don't know if he would hold you down if you went to jail.
But the messed up thing was, Yandy was like, what was so embarrassing is that that's what everybody kept telling me. I was like, ma'am.
They were right. I don't know, Dora.
The reality is, listen, this is a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But the reality of the situation is a lot of times that's how it works out. We see it all the time where these women be holding these men down. They be celibate. They don't be messing with nobody else. They be up there every motherfucking weekend, bringing the kids up there on the weekends, putting money on your commissary, working a double job to pay that damn phone bill from all them collect calls.
Now it's a video phone bill and it's more expensive.
Lines. Okay, they be sneaking cell phones in their orifices. All of that. And we saw how Lucius did Cookie.
Not Lucius and Cookie.
He said the divorce papers in jail. Stop bringing her kids to see her.
Because niggas gonna do nothing but nig if they don't do nothing else.
I mean, listen, I said, so yeah, I mean, the reality of the situation is, Papoose, you a real one. I don't care what nobody say.
Right. Can't nobody take that from you. Can't tell me because that nigga, he held her down.
Okay. If they ever break up, I'ma cry. Like, I'ma cry. If they break up, I'ma cry.
They're gonna be the ones, they're gonna be like Ossie Davis and Ruby D. That's our modern day, that's who they are.
I'ma need some bonbons and ice cream or something if something ever happened to Remy and Papoose. I ain't lying. Okay, well, let's go on to a couple of these other odds and ends. Shout out to the 92 in the room. If you are not subscribed, please go on and hit that subscribe button. Go and hit that. You can go and hit that like button while you're in here too. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate you all.
When you start like that, I know it's going to be some shit.
No, this one really ain't that bad. This one ain't that bad. Terrence Howard sent a cease and desist letter to Cinemark, Digital Ignition Entertainment, Argonaut Entertainment Partners, and others for allegedly using his name, image, and likeness within the movie Triumph without his permission. Triumph features Terrence Howard and co-stars. The inspirational sports film was inspired by a true story and released on April 30th of this year. According to the cease and desist letter, Terrence's involvement with the film was conditioned upon the satisfaction of material, monetary, and non-monetary promises made by the producers, which never happened. So whatever was in his contract was never fulfilled within the contract. And so now he's suing them because they put the movie out without paying what they owed him. I don't know. Terrence attorneys are claiming that the producers of the project acknowledged on April the 15th, prior to the film's release, that their client's consent had not been obtained, which meant that the movie should never have been released, but it dropped 5 days later.
So y'all admitted that y'all knew y'all didn't have this man's permission and still released the movie? Give that man his money.
I feel like my legal consultant ain't been here in a while. She must be working on a big case, honey. She's busy. But I feel like that's pretty much an open and shut slam dunk situation. Y'all have admitted that y'all knew y'all did not have the proper release, and y'all did it anyway. I don't understand how that works.
Y'all gonna stop playing with people. Y'all gonna stop. See, y'all didn't learn from that Lee Daniels Dame Dash situation where he ran up on that man at that Diana Ross concert. Talk about where's my motherfucking money. Y'all gonna learn about playing with people.
There she go. What's up, DC? Where you been, girl? Sounds like a door opening and closing at the bank to me. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like to me too. Give that man his money. Write him his check.
I feel like you could have dropped out of law school the first week and could win that case. I'm just saying.
I could have won that case for you. Let the record reflect. These motherfuckers said on April 25th, oh, we know we don't have his permission. He hasn't signed off on the movie. And you still didn't have his sign off. And 5 days later, the movie released.
Ciao.
We would like to check Your Honor.
Golden, we talked about Bow Wow and his failed attempt to get a versus on Saturday, but
if nobody is concerned about nobody is concerned about Shad.
Nobody asked for it. Nobody wanted it.
Thank you. Go next. We don't want that. Thank you.
Yeah. Nobody want.
We will invite the people into the verses.
See, Golden said our shady business deal is the theme of today's meeting.
Well, apparently.
Well, listen, let's roll on into another shady situation.
Oh shit.
Kobe Bryant's family and friends claim his parents were not invited to his Hall of Fame induction. They were totally disrespected. Now, let me say this.
Well, who didn't invite them? The Hall of Fame people?
No. That's a good question. That's a good question. The Hall of Fame would exclude or include whoever is in charge of his estate. So that would be his wife. Oh,
well, then why you acting dumb kind of like y'all know what it is?
Right, because that's the same reason why when his jersey was retired, his memorial and all of that, they won't invite him to that either. Listen.
How many times we got to tell y'all? The lady said, "Go home."
Listen, no. Let me explain. Let's not romanticize these things. I understand that Kobe Bryant passed away tragically, prematurely, and all that good stuff, but let's not romanticize these things. Kobe and his parents were not in a good place for a very long time. They were not even on speaking terms. Some things have been said, that, some things had been done, and a lot of it stemmed back to Vanessa. A lot of it stemmed back to his dealings with Vanessa, him dating Vanessa, and, some other things happened after that. Like, it was a whole lot of ins and outs and all the hate furious citizens. And so now that he is no longer here, I know that for the purpose of the optics, it would be nice that we put on a front that we're all one big happy family. But let's not remember that Vanessa is the same woman that just put her mama out of the apartment that they was paying for. So I'm just saying, if she putting her mama out of the apartment,
her mama,
she put her mama out the apartment. Okay. What y'all think y'all think she really care about his parents and how they feel when
you can't be no Johnny come lately knowing she was there for when y'all shitted on them the entire time. She was there for all of that. She experienced all that.
That was part of the reason.
And
that wasn't the only reason, but that was part of the reason why Kobe fell out with his parents is because of her. Right. They don't fool with Vanessa and Vanessa don't fool with them. Like, it is what it is. That is why I'm not saying this to be funny, but that is why, listen, you got to fix whatever you need to fix while you still here to fix it. You can't expect or put it in writing. If Kobe wanted to reconcile with his parents in death, he should have had some in his will. And I ain't saying that to be mean. I'm not. But the reality is his wife is going to do what she feels like is what her husband would have wanted. And maybe on a night as important as him being inducted into the Hall of Fame, she ain't want fool with it. Maybe she didn't know if they was going to show up acting a fool. Now, what was said was that the Hall of Fame offered to let them buy tickets, but they were not going to treat them as honorary guests.
So you can be sitting in nosebleed seats if that's what you can afford.
You could get,
but you won't be down on the floor next to Vanessa and the rest
right.
of
We're not paying for your
we're
flight.
We're not gonna expose her to that because
we'll give you a discount code down to the hotel, but we're not paying for it. We'll block. We'll give you access to where they block off the
tickets. Front row tickets to what? To who? Where? Well, who getting front row tickets? I'm sorry, I was talking to Robert.
Oh, whoever. They might have offered them some tickets. So
I doubt they offered them front row tickets. I doubt they offered them tickets anywhere next to where that girl was gonna be.
Yeah. Right. Vanessa, listen, and again, whether you like Vanessa or not, Vanessa does keep that same energy. She does keep that same energy. I think I think. And here's the thing. I don't know the whole story about what happened between Kobe and his parents. I know it got ugly, and I know a lot of it goes back to a lot of it has to do with Vanessa. Not all of it. There were some other things there too. But let's put this in perspective. Vanessa told the story today about how their daughter almost missed her senior prom because her senior prom was the same night at his Hall of Fame induction. Vanessa told a story today on her Instagram about how she missed her senior prom because at the time of her senior prom, she was dating Kobe and he had a playoff game that night. And they made a joke about how your dad, wouldn't it be, poetic that your dad kept you from your prom like he kept me from my prom. So let's put that in perspective. The man went straight to the NBA, so he didn't go to college, okay? But the fact that he was playing in an NBA playoff game the night of the senior prom, and that's why he couldn't take his girlfriend to her senior prom of high school, that was part of the problem his parents had. It was the optics. Yes, age-wise, it wasn't that big of an age gap, but the optics weren't cute. And they weren't. They weren't. Yeah, I remember that story too that said Kobe's mom sold some of his memorabilia. Let me say this. Let me say this. And I'm not saying this to you, furious citizen. I'm just saying this when people make these statements. We got to put stuff in perspective. His parents selling some of his memorabilia doesn't mean it belonged to him. That was their child. Those may very well have been things that belonged to them that they decided to sell. And they were perfectly within their rights to sell stuff that belonged to them. Now, I've heard different stories over the years that they weren't that it wasn't their stuff, that it was his stuff in a storage unit, whatever. But at the end of the day, it absolutely could have been stuff that belonged to them. And for whatever their reasons were, they chose to sell it. He didn't want it sold because his stuff is worth so much that, it should go through certain things before it's just out there on the open market. Someone has to be the bigger person. Vanessa and Kobe's parents both lost children, regardless of all of the past crazy stuff. If 2020 hasn't taught us anything, life is short. Let me say this.
No, let me be very clear.
I agree with you.
And life will get even shorter. What you mean? No.
Bernadette, I agree with you 100%. I do feel like there should have been a conversation and some reconciliation, if nothing for the sake of the family, for the grandkids and things like that. But at the end of the day, again, I can't tell nobody because I don't know to the extent and how deep it was cut. The fact that Kobe wasn't speaking to his parents, this wasn't like they just fell out 2 weeks before he died. No. This had been going on for damn near, 15 years. So it's a lot. It's a lot of hurt behind that. And I'm sure that a lot of things were said behind closed doors and done that we don't know about and we don't know the full extent of, And at the end of the day, she's a grieving mother too. She's a grieving wife. She's a grieving mother. So
let me speak as a grieving mother. We don't give a fuck about none of that bullshit that y'all talking about. Do you know that we just lost I can't. No, I'm not doing this with you. Get out of my face. My baby is gone. Get out of my, I don't care about your feelings. I don't care how you feel about any of this shit. Let me be very clear, because I had a certain situation happening when my son passed away, and somebody tried to do, like when I say I cussed them people so bad that later that night I had to talk to the Lord and ask for forgiveness, because I had no fucks to give about you and your fucking feelings and how you felt about this situation. My baby just died. You can go straight to hell. I don't give a damn what you talking about right now. Now, maybe in a couple of years when it doesn't hurt so bad that I can't breathe, then maybe we can come around, and if you talk to me nicely and you talk to me right, or if you catch me on a good day and I'm feeling sentimental, we can work it out. But right now, it is super fresh. You can absolutely go to hell. I don't give a damn about your feelings right now. It is not about you and your feelings.
I 100% understand I can't 100% understand, but I understand what you're saying. I, as someone on the outside looking in of the Kobe situation, because he was such a public figure and so beloved, I ain't even a fan, because I was not a fan of Kobe when he was here, and I'm not pretending like I was a fan now. But I would like to have seen them put all of that aside, at least for these public acts of love towards Kobe, so that they could have partaken in some of that. That was still their son. That was still their wait a minute, please. Wait a minute. That was still their son, and that was still their only child, and they're grieving as well. And I wish that they would have been able to put. I understand Vanessa. I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm just saying I wish that they had been able to put some of that aside, so that for his, it wasn't the for his number, his retirement, the memorial. No, his number was already retired. Mm-hmm. Must have been for the memorial, the public memorial, and for his Hall of Fame induction. I wish that they had been able to just, like Lufa say, if only for one night. But I understand Kobe has Kobe. Maybe it's their only son. Maybe I said only child. Maybe you're right. Kobe does have a sister. Maybe I mean their only son. But again, it is what it is. I'm not saying. I ain't saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying it is what it is. Yeah. Okay. So there was that. Good news. Let's get into some good news. Delaware State, HBCU, has decided to use some of their PPP money. Unlike some of these other people that's going to go to JALE jail.
Not like KO.
They're going to jail. Delaware State has decided that they are going to cancel over $700,000 in student debt for pandemic hardship. The average eligible student will qualify for almost $3,276 in debt relief, according to the statement from the HBCU. Too many graduates across the country will leave their schools burdened by debt, making it difficult for them to rent an apartment, cover moving costs, or otherwise prepare for their new careers. DSU is paying for the expenses through the Federal American Aid Rescue Plan for COVID relief. So, and again, $3,000 may not be a lot, but it is enough if you need to relocate to move. It is enough for first and last month's rent on an apartment. I think that's really, really nice for them to take that money and give it back to the school. Give it back to the students for I thought that was nice of them. Especially, I have a friend of mine, her daughter went to Delaware State this year. She was a freshman. So I know what they did this year as far as, she literally was in her dorm the first half of the year. Like they were on campus, but they were taking classes from their dorm. Like I said, have you had a chance to meet anybody? She was like, I don't really know anybody. Because when they would see each other, they were like in masks, they would see each other walk across campus and stuff. Now they were able to kind of, be a little looser. But they can't. But that's one of the schools that's requiring the kids to take the vaccine. So she can't go back unless she takes the vaccine, which I think she already. I think she's already had her first dose. So yeah, I just wanted let's throw some good news in. Y'all know we like to let me give y'all some good news in between the bullshit. Good news in between the bullshit. Yeah, that would be nice if more schools would do it, but I thought that was a real cool way for the school to use that money. Now,
amen.
All right, now Abby, before I say this next story, I need you to calm down.
I'm calm. I promise I'm calm. Go ahead. I'm good. Because I literally want to listen to this post that BCG just put on the grams about Quentin and.
Oh, I saw it. He put it on his Facebook. I already saw it.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Oh God, listen. I'm waiting. Listen. Go ahead.
Anyway. All right. So y'all remember back in 2020 when Bill Gates was stepping down from his company and everybody was like, there's gotta be more to this story. Like, why is he walking away? Why does it seem like he's retiring? Like, what's going on with Bill Gates? Y'all remember that? We talked about it here. Because I was like, it's gotta be more to this story. Like Bill Gates just abruptly the board. He stepped away from the board or whatever. Remember we talked about it here because we were like, it's got to be more to the story. Like he did that real, like it came out of nowhere that he just walked away from the company like that. Remember we talked about that. I don't know if you remember or not, Abby.
I don't remember, but I would feel like he's worth $7 billion. He can step away, whatever. I would just go.
But it was one of those
back to the house.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where it was like effective. It came out of nowhere and it was like effective immediately. That usually smells of some sort of something. Like generally, people give you some time. They be like, at the end of the month, or I will be stepping down
at the end of the quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but for you to be like, yeah, I ain't coming back to work tomorrow. You'll be like, what?
No, I'm not coming back.
You just gonna stop coming? So here's what had happened, y'all. Let's talk about it. More information is coming out about Bill Gates' split from his now estranged wife, Melinda Gates, and what sparked his decision to step down from the Microsoft Corporation board in March of 2020. A rep for the billionaire has confirmed reports that he cheated on Melinda Gates with a Microsoft employee. It comes after Microsoft Corp board members hired a third-party law firm to investigate a relationship with the worker that, close to the matter, said was inappropriate. In 2019, according to the Wall Street Journal, the woman claimed in a letter that she and Bill Gates had a sexual relationship for years. Last year, the board advised Bill Gates to step down from his position on the board. A spokesperson from the Microsoft Corporation explained. Microsoft received a concern in the later half of 2019 that Bill Gates sought to initiate an intimate relationship with a company employee in the year 2000. A committee of the board reviewed the concern, aided by an outside law firm, to conduct a thorough investigation. Throughout the investigation, Microsoft provided extensive support to the employee. Yada 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 yada.
The affair that happened in 2000.
Well, a rep for Bill Gates said there was an affair almost 20 years ago, which ended amicably. Now, I got two schools of thought on this. My first school of thought on this is, like I said at the beginning when we were talking about Joe Budden, if he was in a position of power and he had a relationship with a subordinate, that's wrong. Period.
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong. But if it happened in 20 years ago and ain't nobody know about it until now,
then clearly it wasn't an issue.
There's got to be more to the story. It's got to be more to the story. I could see now. They said the relationship went on for years. Okay, fine, but unless she is now,
did you push her like in front of a train, like on that show on Netflix? Like what to get rid of her? Like what's happening?
She's got to be accusing him of something more than just the affair. She's got to be accusing him of like him forcing her to stay in the relationship longer than she wanted to, or something. It's got to be.
Wait. Who is accusing him of this? The wife or the girlfriend?
No. Hold on. That was me. Nobody's accused. Nobody has said. Only thing we know is that the affair happened and that the woman wrote a letter to the board talking about the affair. I
think this is so the wife can get proof to maybe try and combat some if there was a prenup.
There is no prenup. They've already said there's no prenup.
Okay, so she's trying to get more money. That's all that is.
But this isn't coming from the wife.
You don't think that there wasn't no subpoenas going out? It's like you can't tell me that Melissa didn't. What's her name? Melissa? Is that the wife's name?
Yeah, Melissa.
That sounds about white.
We talked to Trey Leche. We talked about that last week about his connection to Epstein. Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a connection to Epstein, according to y'all. Moving on. Child, you could have brushed past him in the elevator. Now all of a sudden he was on the island. Freaking all your children.
Listen, all I'm saying is this.
Melissa, same damn thing.
This one of them Melinda, my fault. This is one of them situations where I feel like I don't know if that is enough that they could have made him resign over, unless there's more that we don't know. There's gotta be more. It's gotta be more. Either way, that's why he stepped down from, and again, I feel like he didn't care. It was like, oh, fine. Oh, really? You want me to? Okay, that's cool.
Like, I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. like I'm worth $7 billion. I don't give a damn about. I'm going to go to my island that I own. That the only people that inhabit it are the ones that I employ.
Listen, serious citizen, me and you on the same page. It's more to it. I don't know. It's a secret kid or a salacious videotape. I mean, maybe Bill Gates is into S&M. Like, I don't know.
Maybe he likes to get peed on. If so, that's that man's business. We don't care.
No, you don't care. If you are in charge of $1 billion business, that's not a good look. It ain't a good look for the head of your company to have a videotape floating of him getting peed on. Now, for most people,
like it would stop him from becoming president.
And on that note, I think we're done with Bill Gates. I think we're done with Bill Gates.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Okay.
Listen. You got enough money, you can do anything the fuck you want. And it don't go, and you don't got no consequences to your actions.
I mean,
and I don't like to kink shame people. If you like you like what you like.
Yeah, I definitely don't do that. Yeah, I definitely don't like to kink shame people. So when I say I don't care, because I don't care, you know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't bother me if it came out that he was into S&M or he was into like that. I don't care. You know, but I'm talking about, we know, well, you're right, with the exclusion of Trump, we know people's sensitivities to those things. And the same people that are doing the same shit will be the same ones that will publicly shame you for it.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, no, I agree. I definitely, because that's why, I mean, earlier in the chat, Xavier, when we were talking about, you know, relationships lasted, and he was saying Ruby D and Ozzy had an open marriage. They did. But I know people in open marriages that still end up in divorce. So it doesn't automatically mean it's a recipe for success. And if that's what worked for them, then then great, it worked for them. But, and I don't think for the duration of their marriage, it was open. I think for a time period, they had an open marriage. But neither here nor there. Okay. Oh God. Oh my gosh. I teared up. You make me sick, Abby. I swear to you. Okay, let's get into
Well, that's rude. The Sims overdose. Don't do that. Because whatever you don't want somebody to shame you for whatever it is that you into. So don't do it to anybody. Do it to others as you would like them to do.
I'm about to say, I have friends who are in kink, who are into different types of kink, and that's just what they like to do in the bedroom. And the reality is this: you find like-minded people, and that's just it. That's all. You find like-minded people who are into the same things that you're into, and that is what it is. But you know, I shame people. I mean, I don't say I shame people, but I don't understand people who all they care about is missionary and getting up and going. I don't understand people who don't. What's up, Angel? I don't understand people who don't enjoy giving or receiving oral. I don't understand people.
Are you sick? Are you?
But that's what I'm saying. But there are people who are in relationships and they don't. I don't understand it. So I'm not, but if you
I also don't understand this promoting small peen. What?
But I'm just saying, but if you're okay with it, then you find somebody who's okay with it and y'all move on and have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
If you like it, I love it for you.
She may have gotten a series of raises or promotions. She probably was okay. But business-wise, you can't be funneling shareholder profits, company money. Right, exactly, DC. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They did an investigation, so clearly some things came back in the investigation that made the board go back to Bill and say, excuse me. But that's the thing, Sims overdose. It is for some people. It ain't for you, and that's cool.
Ain't for you, but it might be okay. It's not okay.
Listen, I'm not into particularly sexy either,
or water sports like that either. But just because Joe down the street is into it, that's just it's his kink. That's what he's like. Yeah, I mean, he and I are never gonna do that with each other because that's not my kink.
That ain't my judge. That ain't my judge. That ain't gonna happen. Yeah, right. It's right. Exactly. It's called kink for a reason. Exactly. It's kink for a reason. I mean, there are people who are into bondage. There are people who are into, it's all kinds. Listen, all kinds of stuff that ain't for everybody. It ain't for everybody. But I don't judge nobody. Listen, as long as you don't inflict your level of kink on me, if it ain't my level of kink, we good.
Right.
We good. But anyway, so this season of the Real Housewives of Potomac has wrapped filming. They are done. They are ready. The season starts. The new episodes are dropping this summer. I'm thinking we're looking at late July, early August. I think is what we're probably looking at. And the final event of the season was Karen's wedding. I told y'all I had a friend that went to the wedding. They said it was nice. They ain't gave me no tidbits yet. I'm waiting for them to give me a little tidbit. But what I did hear, I've heard this being reported in multiple sources, multiple DJ Richie Sky and Kemp Empire and all of that, or Kempire. Anyway, allegedly, the ladies were trying to ice Karen out this season, which is what I predicted after last season when Karen took sides with Monique and then Monique quit. I said, oh, well, that's Karen. Karen's going to be fighting all season next year because everybody's going to be kind of looking at her like you took her side and she ain't here. And, and so allegedly they've been trying to ice Karen out all season to the point where producers had to step in and threaten them because only one member of the cast was going to go to the wedding. And they had to threaten them and say, well, if you don't go, you're not going to get paid.
Oh, well.
And I don't mean for the season. I mean for that episode. Like they were going to lose an episode check. I don't think it was for the whole season. Like you can't threaten them with the whole season if they filmed the whole season. But so from the pictures that are surfacing, everybody was there. But that's what I'm hearing is that they had to be threatened, honey, to show up to Karen's big event because it was the season finale, So yeah, honey, I said, ooh. I said, well, that was interesting. But we'll see. Like I said, I know they started filming in January, so it looks like they got a good 5 months of filming in. And that's why I said these reality shows do not take up that much time when you start talking about interfering with other jobs. Because, I mean, like you said, unless there's a contract thing, because they only film about 4 or 5 months out the year. And then, because that's why Candy said She said, I ain't quitting Real Housewives. She said for what they pay me to film. She said for what they pay me for 4 or 5 months to eat and go on vacations, I'm good. She said, I'm good.
That's right.
Yeah, the icing out thing. I mean, I don't know how the contracts are written, but I guess there are a certain amount of events that they can opt to not go to and not be penalized for. And maybe there's a certain number of things where they can and maybe, get away with not inviting people to. But as a rule, the purpose of these events is to film. So if you're not inviting people or people are not showing up, then it's like it defeats the purpose. But it also plays into the storyline sometimes for certain people to not show up that, so I'm sure for when it plays into the storyline, I'm sure it's not a big deal. But when it doesn't play into the storyline is when I guess it becomes an issue. And again, that was supposed to be the finale. That was the culminating event of the season. For the whole cast to not be there would not have been a good look. One, it would have forced them to keep filming because they would have had to keep filming about it. And two, if that was what they were planning for to be the finale, they did need all of them there. Wendy faking a storyline to stay on the show. Wendy doesn't even have a storyline. What storyline Wendy got? That her husband cheating on her? I don't think that's been around since last year. That ain't a new story. Nobody paid attention last year because so much was going on with Monique in the fight. But that's been around since last year. That's not a new story that her husband cheating. Further proof that they need to recast many of these housewives and burst ago should be rather. I think autocorrect got you. Okay, yeah. Robin needs to go first. I'm about to say, I think autocorrect got you, girl. Yeah. I don't watch G Status. No, ma'am. No, sir. Mm-mm. And we don't watch it, and we don't
the Unstable Hustle.
You can watch it over on Ebby channel. We don't discuss it. We don't watch it over here. All right.
I will say that Akeem's hair was lovely. I really liked his hair. He had some dreads. It was real cute. It was real cute.
We don't discuss it over here.
Okay. I was just making a.
I do, Diamond. I think that absolutely came from Giselle. I absolutely believe it came from Giselle. They said that Karen gets along with the new lady. I think her and Ashley are getting along right now. Hey, El Teddy, what's up,
baby?
What's up, boo? I think her and and they said that now that Giselle and Wendy done fell out, that maybe her and Wendy are cool now. But hell, it's the end of the damn season now. Shit. I agree. They all need to show up. Like, we all have to clock in for our job. Exactly. That's why Giselle is bitter and alone forever. Well, again, a lot of it stems from last season. Karen sided with Monique. And even at the reunion, she sided with Monique with the whole past the holy whore and all that. So, I mean, if I was Giselle, I would feel some kind of way about Karen. I mean, they already didn't like each other. Let's be clear. They already don't like each other. That's her way of making sure Karen gets demoted. Did I hear Portia and Cynthia unfollowed each other on Instagram? I'm pretty sure Cynthia isn't down with the Portia and I don't pay attention to all that who following and unfollowing each other. Child. I mean, I'm not saying it don't mean nothing, but I don't even be paying attention, Lil Mackie. Yeah, I feel like I just feel like the people who are inside the bubble know way more than we know. And there's more to the story. And I guess we'll find out as this situation progresses what the real story is. Now, y'all are going to get my full Pose review after this because I hadn't watched it. That's why I didn't even stick my head in your live today, Ed, because I hadn't watched Pose. I didn't watch it last night. I watched it today when I got home from work. And so I'll do my review when we get off of here. But I will say this.
Did it seem rushed to you?
Pose? No.
It didn't? Okay. I felt like something was missing. I couldn't put my finger on it. I enjoyed the singing. Because my grandmother's favorite song is To God Be the Glory. So when he went there, I went up. But the pastor situation, and why did his wife's name have to be Ebony? I was so distraught.
Well, To God Be the Glory is one of those songs that has significant meaning to me, so it always makes me cry. So that episode just had me all in my feelings. Anyway, that was my brother could sing. I don't know if any of y'all, I think I've told y'all, my brother could sing. When I say my brother could sing, and that was one of his signature songs. That and his Eyes on the Sparrow. So I have to deal with his Eyes on the Sparrow way more often than I have to hear To God Be the Glory. Mm-hmm. So that sort of shook me last night today, because it's just not a song like his Eyes on the Sparrow.
Not a song that you hear normally.
Yeah. And so when he first walked in that church and she was singing it, I was like, okay, all right. But then when they started singing it I said, these motherfuckers. So yeah, that's one of those songs that can get me in my feelings, especially if you can sing it. And they were singing. I feel like they would try to put a lot in that episode, but I don't feel like the episode was rushed. But I do feel like they were giving us a lot. But I feel like a lot of what they were giving us was stuff we had sort of kind of. I think because it's so many people's story, mm-hmm. even people who are not LGBTQIA, so many people have a story of the church turning their back because they didn't fit that mold. They made a mistake. They didn't live in lockstep, which, like, the one thing that I love that Pray Tell said was, I realized that all y'all got secrets. All y'all got secrets. Ain't none of y'all living like y'all say y'all living. You know, because I was waiting when him and his mother got into argument, and he said you needed somebody to help protect you or something like that. I thought they was going to say his mama was gay and that she wasn't living in her truth. I was like, what? But they didn't go there. That was just me going. That was just me going. That was just me. I think that so I guess I'm back to, I guess Pray Tell is the one that's gonna die.
I literally said that this morning. I said that really be an L Teddy. Y'all talked this shit into existence because you kept saying, "Oh, Pray Tell, Pray Tell." I was like, okay. I was like, and when they said that he had cancer and that he had 6 months, I said, if this man is dead by the end of this, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be upset. Nothing. So
yeah. But I think that this was a great. I mean, I feel like the episode was really great. I feel like it was a great.
I love the casting.
I just think they threw a whole lot. The thing is,
everything at the wall to see what's.
They threw a whole lot at us that we can't unpack that we don't have time to unpack. So maybe I guess from that point of view, I see what you're saying. Because, like, for example, the whole situation with him, Ebony, and the pastor. They kept harping. When he was talking to Ebony, she kept harping on how much she loves, her husband, and she loves marriage, and the church preaches this. But my thing is, why are we not talking about before that? Because, like Pray Tell said, she was my best friend. She knew everything. So right. Before you married this man, you knew
what you were. You didn't walk into this with your eyes shut.
Right. It's not like you got married and realized that he was living.
It's not like he tricked you.
No.
You knew what it was when you went into it.
And I feel like the whole conversation was not why are we not dealing with that elephant in the room? Why are we not dealing with the fact that you walked into this marriage with your eyes wide open? And like he said, you could have had anybody. You were captain of the cheerleading team. You're a beautiful woman. Like, why you married a down low man? Like the man that you knew was gay. What is wrong?
You should have known he wasn't shit when he was on Scandal and not married that fool. Listen, nobody has time.
I'm not on Scandal though.
Right, he's the one that when she's like, in the last 5 minutes, you called me a liar, a whore, and a criminal, and you better.
I remember him from Scandal, but I'm just saying I'm mad we went to Scandal. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying that's what I mean.
We're talking about Pose, Joshua. We're talking about Pose. Yeah. So I mean, I thought it was a good episode, but yeah, they did. They threw a lot at us because even. Just like with Jackie, with the three sisters, and Jackie was like, well, the church threw me away. I lost my community, but you was up there Sunday morning. So was it a different church?
No, it was the same church.
Well, then how you?
But it's familiar. They continue. It's at that point, it's rote. It's not, it's familiar. Wash, rinse, repeat. That's like but I've experienced church hurt, and I didn't hold it. Okay, Alika. While I had to I never had to reconcile it with my relationship with the Lord, because I know my relationship is personal between me and God. It has nothing to actually do with physically going to church. I don't ever actually have to physically go to church, and I would still have the same relationship. I'm sure he would still be sick of me praying to him all the time. I'm talking to him, wearing his nerves, all of that good stuff. Because I have a personal relationship with him. And so when I experienced my church hurt, I think I was able to move through it differently, because I know people are human, and they're judgmental and they're hypocritical. And the deepest ones into the hypocritical and the judgmental are the ones in the church. It's a hospital for the sick. That's why these sick asses is at the church, hopefully trying to get it right. Some of them like they demons that they play with too much to give them up. So
for me, and honestly, that's why, and this, maybe you can invite me on your podcast, because we can have a whole conversation about this. That's why I grew up, and people can make fun of, oh, you grew up Catholic, yada, yada, yada. But I grew up with and I know before I say this, don't yell at me about white churches, because I ain't talking about white churches. I ain't white. I'm talking about me. I grew up with such a distrust for the Black church and the Black mega church, because that is all I saw was the hypocrisy, the judgmental. And don't get me wrong, the Catholic Church is far from perfect. We know what the Catholic Church got going on. Okay, let's be clear. But I just had such a distrust, and it wasn't until college, well, really after college, that I started seeing a different side of the Black church that helped me get past that. But I really grew up with a strong distrust of the Black mega church. And again, I'm not talking about, Second Baptist Church on the slate rock on the temple at the corner of 5th and 40. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the mega churches. You know what I'm saying? The Creflo Dollars of the world. That kind of thing. And so for me, I see that. So when I saw Pose last night, I was like, this is just so, and again, even outside of the LGBT community, this is so many people's story, that they were raised in the church. They were told that this is your place. This is your place of solace. This is your place of refuge. We're going to be here. God loves you. God loves everybody. He accepts until you screw up. And then it's, oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? And in his case, of course, it came down, it was, LGBTQ, but in his aunt's case, it was some scandal with her having a baby out of wedlock by a married man, and some of Billy Porter's real story, well, really a lot of Billy Porter's real story was wrapped into that. We know that Billy Porter's from Pittsburgh. We know that Billy Porter was molested by his stepdad. Like, a lot of his real story was wrapped into that pray tell story. So it was good. It was a lot there that we're not going to be able to unpack. I feel like they could have taken one or two things out of that without, like, they could have taken out he's married to his best friend from high school, and that she knew the whole story, because that opens up a whole nother level of questions that we ain't gonna get an answer to.
Yeah, like, daughter, why did you love yourself enough to know that? Like, why did you? At least I don't understand. I didn't understand the life is supposed to be painful, and that's how you know you're close. That's not what church you been going to, daughter? Like, who you been talking to? Because the God that I serve, I know he wants more for me in this life. He knows the desires of my heart. So while, yes, there will be trials and tribulations in this life, but there'll also be great joy. So I just don't believe the Lord wants you in your house not having peace, not being happy with your spousal situation, whatever that may be, daughter. And I feel like she wanted like the prestige of marrying this boy and took it regardless of the consequences. You knew this boy was gay when you married him. Did you think he was gonna prey it off of him? Did you think he was gonna be able to change him?
Right.
Are you operating off the a wrong assumption that being gay is a choice?
Exactly, O Street. And that's something, again, once I got to be an adult, I acknowledge that. But as a kid growing up, because I didn't grow, I saw it from the outside looking in. And so that was a hard thing for me. But yeah, I absolutely get it now. I definitely get it now. I would have loved to have seen, and this, maybe they felt like this would have been redundant, but I would have loved to have seen when he did come out and what happened at the church. Like, I would have loved to have seen a scene of the church, like what happened. And maybe they felt like that was too literal or redundant. But I wouldn't have, when we talk about flashbacks, I would not have or even the night that he left, his mother said, listen, you used to sneak off to New York and one day you just didn't come back home. Like, I would have loved to have seen the flashback. What happened that day that made him say, you know what? I just ain't fucking, I ain't coming back.
Right.
Because if you kept coming back, what made you, I think I would have loved to see more of those flashbacks, kind of like we did with Electra. Like, we saw, we saw it, we understood it. Mm-hmm. And I would not
saw the night that she broke with her mother and
I would love to have seen that, like the rest of the stuff I didn't need to see everything, obviously, but that, like that last night, when he's packing his bag and he's getting on that bus and he know he ain't coming back, and we can tell by the way the scene is playing out that he know he ain't coming back. Like, something, what happened? Was that the night that he broke up with you? For real? Was that something happened at church that day? Did you get kicked off the choir? Like, what was the event that made you say, screw this shit, I ain't never coming back?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, O Street. I hope I'm not saying too much.
Sorry.
My bad.
Listen, I have been sat down in church. Because of course when I got pregnant at 18, I ain't had no husband.
Joshua, ain't nobody heard that but you. Go ahead, Abby. I'm sorry.
And so, because of how I was raised and who my parents were, my father being a pastor, I understood the correction that it was supposed to be. Didn't mean that it didn't hurt my feelings.
Right.
At the time. But I would have liked to see Pray Tell's introduction to ballroom as well.
Right. Like, is that what made him go back? Maybe one day he went up there for the weekend and he stumbled into a ball. Is that what made him say, oh, hell, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, what was it that made him finally say, I'm not coming back. Yeah. But that is, I would have loved to see that too. Keep it cute, Abby. Yeah. I have friends, who've had situations at their church, like you said, where they've been sat down, or I had a friend of mine growing up, they were friends of my parents. And so, the kids, we were cool, and she got pregnant, when she was in high school, and she had to go before the church and apologize. And I was like, what?
Like, I wasn't made to apologize. No, but I was very heavy. Of course, I was very heavily in the choir, and I was sat down until after I had the baby.
You said you heard there's gonna be a Pose spinoff. I don't want it because they're gonna fuck it up. Pose is lightning in the bottle. If you're not gonna keep doing Pose with those characters, I don't want it. I don't want a Pose spinoff. I don't. I would not mind those people creating a new show that was very much within the LGBTQIA community, that included ballroom, that included trans lives, that included the same elements. But I don't want a spinoff because they're going to fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? So.
Joshua, why do you think that's funny?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that's funny, Joshua.
That's not funny.
Right. Prey didn't walk the balls, but somehow he found that community. Yeah. And so I would love to have seen that. But then I guess we didn't get that with Elektra either. We never found out how Elektra found the ballroom. So I don't know. But again, I think it was a great episode. Don't get me wrong. It was absolutely a great episode. For me, it was.
I enjoyed the singing.
Abby Ostry said, did they make the guy who impregnated you stand in front of the church? No.
He didn't go to the church.
Well,
and at that point, we weren't together. So they didn't make me stand in the front of the church and do anything.
Well, maybe she's talking about my story. She might be talking about my story. She's talking about my story. And in my story, where I said that my mother's friend's daughter had to stand in front of the church and apologize, I don't remember, because the boy that got her pregnant did stand in front of the church. Did go to the church, but I don't remember, because that was, listen, the child that I'm talking about graduated from college about 4 years ago. So this girl is knocking on 30. So we talking about this happened 30 years ago. I don't remember all of the details. I do remember she had to go in front of the church and apologize. I don't remember. I know the boy went to the church, but I don't remember if he had to stand up there with her. I don't remember.
Yeah. So those things have to be, because you can scar somebody and hurt somebody to the point where they don't come back into church. When I was set down, it was a conversation with my pastor, who was my godmother and my mother's best friend. And her and my mom sat down in her office, and there was conversation had, and she was like, we love you. However, X, Y, and Z, you can't serve in ministry while you're pregnant and unwed. Once you have the baby, the baby will be here. Like, once you have, it's like, well, once not being actively pregnant, but once you have the baby, then you can come back and continue to serve. So, yeah, and my son's dad, at that point we weren't together. He was never a member of that church. So, and there was never like a public spectacle made of it. Once I started to show is when they started to have, is when we had the question, when we had the conversation about me not being able to serve until after I had the baby.
Child, like I said, that could be a whole episode down to your podcast. Speaking of which, if y'all have not subscribed to Ebby's other channel, her podcast, that that's a perfect segue into it. That's Not My Ministry. Ebby dropped the link. Y'all make sure y'all go over there and check it out. We are on episode 4 is this week, right?
Yes.
We are on episode 4. So y'all make sure y'all go and check it out. She tells all this, well, not this particular story, but she tells all the stories of finding her voice within ministry and finding her ministry where she is in her life right now. It is interesting. Y'all go and check it out. She's gonna drop the link. Please make sure y'all go check it out. Thank you guys for being here. Listen, y'all get on over there to listen. Let me say this to y'all. Y'all get on over there to Avon, because the Skin So Soft bug spray is on sale. Okay, the Skin So Soft bug spray is on sale. Hold on, let me show y'all. The Skin So Soft bug spray is on sale.
I need to get some, because I swear.
See, you need to get you some. Okay, they got the towelettes, so you can keep them in your bag and just wipe your arms and legs if you just catch yourself out. Okay, they got the Bug Guard Plus. They got the bug spray that also is sunscreen. That's waterproof. Okay. So when you get in the water and out the water, and listen, even though its skin so soft, it has a light scent. I use it. And I'm not even being funny, y'all, right now. I use it. And it has a light scent to it. It's got the spray. It's got the aerosol. It's got the kid-friendly cream. Okay. Y'all get on over there and catch it while it's on sale. Get yourself ready. Keep it in your bag. Keep it in your car. Keep it in your purse. All that good stuff. And keep it good. Keep it ready for y'all. Y'all get on over there to the Avon, okay? Y'all get on over there to the Avon, and I will check it out. Yes, Joshua, we talked about that. Joshua, we talked about the Versus Escape the day after it happened, honey. Mother's Day, we talked about that, honey. We did watch it. Joshua, you used to come through here every day, and you kept up. You ain't been around here in a while, so you behind. You don't know what we've been talking about, honey. Right? You done left us. You done left us. You done went on to other pastures, honey. But yeah, we talked about it. You need some bug spray? Well, go on over there and order you some. Go on, get you some. Xavier, your mom was an Avon lady? Yes, honey. Yes, honey. Let me go get some because these kids will be staying outside. This KBQ say, I don't want them to have no reason.
You're in or you're out. What you gonna do? Stay out.
Right. He said, I don't want them to have no reason.
Right over there.
He said, I don't want them to have no reason.
Be wasting my good air coming back and forth and out the house.
Okay, let me get the link for y'all. Let me go and drop that good link in case somebody is looking for the link. Let me go and drop that good link.
Drop the link.
I mean, it's scrolling at the bottom, but let me go ahead and get y'all the good link. So all y'all gotta do is cut and paste it. And I remember I told y'all if y'all use Rakuten, it's 3% back right now. It's 3% cash back if you use Rakuten, it's 3% cash back. So whatever you order from Avon, they was running a good one this weekend, 15%. Child, I ordered me some stuff from Ashley Stewart, and I got me my good 15% cash back, hunty.
First of all, we don't literally mean that you can waste air, but you know what the fuck we mean. In or out. What you gonna do? Not gonna be running in and out my house.
Listen, let me tell you something, Joshua. I don't know what house you grew up in. I mean, Xavier, I don't know what house you grew up in, but if you grew up in a black household, yes, you can. The fuck?
You can waste electricity, water,
right?
Anything that I have to pay for, refrigerator.
Right. You better know. Listen, you better know what the hell you already want before you open up that refrigerator door. Don't be wasting.
Don't be standing there letting all my cold air out of the refrigerator.
Okay.
For something go bad in there because you playing games.
Because you playing games. And my favorite one with my dad was in and out. Make up your mind. In and out. Make up your mind.
You're not gonna keep running, messing with my
running
air,
in my house, letting all my good cold air out. Okay, you're not gonna keep letting my cold air out. Okay, either in or you out.
Yeah, get somewhere and sit down.
That's like when I was
Ain't no just looking.
You ain't looking.
You ain't just put nothing in. You ain't put no money on anything.
You know what was in that refrigerator. You know what's in the refrigerator. Don't
First of all, you wouldn't even. You had that. My kids had to ask permission. Don't go. Stay out my refrigerator.
Listen.
Stay out of my refrigerator.
I was over my. This let y'all know. Like that's why I don't understand these new churn. Because me and my students get into these debates all the time. I was like, y'all are just spoiled, and y'all are just because I don't understand it. I was over my parents' house for Mother's Day, and it was hot. It was hot. Okay. And I was hot, like sweating hot. And my daddy told me that I better go find me a window because I ain't turning his air on.
And that's what it is. Is you gonna pay this air bill? No? Okay, then. Ain't no air bill.
I said, I know you hot.
Get you a fan and drink you some cold water.
I'm not the only one in this house hot. And he was quick with that one. He was like, well, I ain't turning no air on. And mind you, my parents still have window units. They don't have, like, you know, my parents got an older house. It ain't no central air. I was like, I can't just turn, it's right there in the living room. Can I turn it on for about 15 minutes? 15 minutes.
You better get your ass next to a fan, daughter.
Okay, Daddy, off or on. Exactly. So y'all know so then I ended up standing out on the porch. And then my daddy had the nerve to say, you leaving? No, I'm not leaving. I'm going outside on the porch because it's hot in this house. No, I'm not going nowhere.
I don't know. Your voice sounded a little too elevated for me, daughter.
I was like,
get a hold of yourself. Wait a minute.
Joshua said, I felt chastised when you said, ain't no just looking.
Ain't no just looking. It ain't.
It ain't no just looking.
It ain't no just looking. I'm so sorry to tell you.
Now, Abby, you know good and daggone well. I didn't say it. I didn't say it to my daddy in that voice. You know, good and well. And then here go my little nephew. Bye, auntie. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just getting on. I'm just going to the porch for a few minutes. He was like, bye, auntie.
That was part of the reason why I had to excuse myself into my own situation where I live alone and not with. Because that girl, the Scooter Boots woman, is hot natured and she want the air on. It's the dead of winter. It's 2 degrees outside, but she got the air blowing at -35. No, ma'am, I'm not going to be cold in the house where I pay all of the bills. So here's
one more time for the people in the back. I'm not going to be hot either.
This is my house. This is my house. So if you come into it, listen, my house is always a good 70 some odd degrees. Listen.
And let me tell y'all something. I've been with Abby.
What, ma'am? What you saying?
Let's just say I've shared a room with Abby in the past.
Whatever.
We're gonna do that. Thank y'all for being here.
No.
I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming through. I hope everybody hit that like button. If you are not subscribed, I hope you subscribe to the channel, and I hope you join us here again. Y'all gonna get some reviews tonight. I didn't get to y'all's reviews last night because something happened that I wasn't anticipating. So y'all are gonna get Pose and Married to Medicine and all that good stuff tonight. As soon as I get off of here, I'm about to drop them as soon as I get off of here. And y'all get on over there to Avon and get you some Skin So Soft. Get y'all that Bug Guard. Abby, get you some Bug Guard. Keep it cute. Xavier, y'all get on over there and order y'all some good old Bug Guard hunting. And I will see y'all later. Peace. Mwah.
Goodbye.